Thank you very much. Let's begin the questioning, Mr. Rubio. You get the first question. It's about Social Security, an important issue to Floridians. 1 in 6 Floridians receive Social Security, and Governor Chris put out a tough new ad yesterday that suggests your openness to reforms like raising the retirement age and recalculating the COLA, quote, make people work harder and longer for their money and balance the budget on the backs of seniors. Your response? My response is it's blatantly untrue, and I think it's important to point that out first and foremost. Every idea that I've ever advocated for Social Security would not impact a single senior in Florida. That is, no one who's over 55 years of age or older would be impacted by any of the ideas that I've put forth. You know, one of those seniors, Governor Chris, that's out there is my mother. She's 80 years old this month. She depends on Social Security. It is her primary source of income. And for you to suggest that I would somehow advocate ideas that would harm her is outrageous and a blatant untruth. It's not true. It's a lie. Now, here's what I do know, George. Social Security's in a lot of trouble. Governor Chris, in May, you said so yourself. Social Security is already paying out more than it takes in. Every year the Congress, which Congressman Meek is a part of, goes in and takes the surplus and raids it, and they use it to pay for other things. And the result is that soon, as more people retire and there are less workers to pay for it, we're going to run into a big problem in Social Security. So there have to be answers to that problem, and I've proposed some. Now, if they've got better ideas about how to save Social Security, they should offer them. They shouldn't lie about my record. They shouldn't lie about my ideas. He just called you a liar 3 times.
Unbelievable. It was his own words that actually said what he would do with Social Security. He talked about raising the age of eligibility, said it was on the table. He said he would restructure how Social Security is delivered to our people. He's talked about privatization. He's been all over the map on this issue of Social Security. Now, I understand that he may not like what he said before and he's trying to run away from it, but the facts are the facts, and facts are stubborn things. This is what was said. This is what he said to the people of Florida. Now, when he was, still running and hadn't achieved the nomination yet, he had all this hard right stuff that he wanted to talk about all the time. And now he's changed course because we have 26 days to go in this election. But I stand by the ad. It is truthful. It is straightforward. It is honest. And the people of Florida have a right to know what Marco Rubio would do. He would put raising the age of eligibility on the table. He would put privatizing Social Security on the table. I'm the only one in this race who has said that I will protect and preserve Social Security as we know it today. My other opponent, the good congressman, said that he wants to punt it to a commission. And we all know what happens every time you send it to a commission. They raise the age of eligibility and restructure how Social Security is delivered. It was a promise that was made to you. A promise that was made to seniors in our state and throughout the country. A promise that I believe needs to be honored and respected. And if I'm elected to the Senate, I'll do just that for you.
Mr. Meek, who's right here?
Well, I can tell you one thing. If you want to talk about ads, I was the first one to put out the ad saying that I'm the only one that fought against the privatization of Social Security always. Mr. Rubio talked about private accounts in January. Mr. Chris was on the stage with George W. Bush in '06 when he was talking about privatization of Social Security, and when he ran in '98 against Governor Graham, Senator Graham, saying that we should privatize some of Social Security. I am the only one that fought against George W. Bush when he wanted to privatize Social Security in Congress. I am the only one that has stood against private accounts here. I think it's important when we look at this issue of Social Security, and who's telling the truth here. Mr. Rubio, it was very interesting to see his people kind of spin this whole thing that it's come and gone, this whole private accounts discussion. But he signed pledges that said that he's willing to privatize Social Security. Charlie Crist has a funding source that's really bizarre, saying that we're going to legalize folks and then we're going to pay for the Social Security Trust Fund through that effort. I'm saying let's expand the middle class workforce so that we can pay into Social Security that will resolve 2 issues. 1, put Floridians back to work. 2, make sure that seniors and those that are under 55 or whatever the magic number is that Marco Rubio is talking about, that's working hard every day, paying into the trust fund, that we don't change the game on them in the middle of the game. I think it's very, very important to note, George, that there's only one candidate here that has a track record of standing up for Social Security. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this to every Floridian. If they want to change Social Security, they're going to have to go through me. I'm 6'3", former state trooper. Used to be a football player, and I think it's important that we don't allow this kind of political tailspin on this
Okay,
issue,
I want
because 40% of
to move
Floridians
on,
will
but
go into
first
poverty.
let's just try to wrap this up and then move on to the next round of questioning. On the question of privatization, you've raised some charges as well, and I just want a yes or no answer. Is it still on the table?
It is not, because it doesn't work, because you're taking payers out of the system. And I've said that in March, by the way. In a debate, Governor Chris was sitting right next to me. I said it to the Wall Street Journal. But once again, the governor's mischaracterized my position. He's saying that this impacts seniors. Not a single senior watching this program would be impacted by any of the changes that I've discussed. Not one.